All right. What's going on this week? Are we just going to talk about Genshin Impact? Is that what we're doing here?
Hell yeah!
Let's do it, baby.
I gather that's what people are into now. So I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes, that's what you damn kids and your damn gotcha games. That game's pretty good. I got a bunch of good characters that I haven't had time to use yet. I posted
Jeff,
a
you have
screenshot.
the best sprinter in the game.
Great, because the sprinting. I hate the sprinting, so I'm looking forward to.
So hang
that
on.
for sure.
Is this a game built around different playable characters? Is that the deal? Is that like
yes?
Like,
yeah, there's like 30 or so. I think
is that
23,
like
30
core mechanic?
20 something, I think.
Yeah, but so
right
the core mechanic of that game, like where there is depth in Genshin Impact from a gameplay perspective, it is in the notion that different characters have different special abilities that are elementally attuned, and so you get into situations where you might have two attacks that combo really well, but also like they might also be of different elemental affinities that combo together well. So you hit somebody with ice, then hit them with fire, they get a melt status effect, or you let's overcharge somebody with like fire and electricity. I don't know, ice and electricity.
Can those elemental affinities be randomly assigned? Like, can you get
No.
Is
like
George,
this lady is an ice lady.
George is already always fire or whatever.
Yeah. Amber is a fire lady who has a bow, and so like so each character will have a specific type of weapon they equip as well as the elemental affinity, and then they will have different
that's
special attacks based on that stuff.
They really missed an opportunity to make people try to grind out every version of every character.
Oh, there's lots of grinding.
You need 7 of each character if you want to fully unlock all their potential. It's fucked. It's fucked.
The main characters, though, they can switch elemental affinities from. You start with wind. Once you get to a certain point in the game, you can switch to Geo, which is like the rock, and they summon a meteor. But that's the only instance of switching elements. Everyone else, they're locked into it along with their fighting style. So someone can't suddenly be an archer or be like a heavy swords person.
So what's the deal with comboing characters? Are you switching on the fly? Like,
you have 4 characters in a party, and you're pushing on the D-pad or 1 through 4 on a keyboard or whatever it is to kind of switch characters, kind of mid attack. There's a bit of a window where you can't switch, and you can't switch between characters kind of willy nilly. There's a little bit of cooldown after you switch too, but the idea is that you'll kind of at least combo these elemental effects together. And I still wish, and I haven't gotten to a point where that's necessary to do in the game. I can just wail away on enemies and beat them. It's not that big a deal. But it sounds like later, and not too much further past where I'm at, you have to kind of start caring about your team makeup and that sort of stuff. But I think for me, I wish that the basic attack string I wish that they were more interesting. Like basically, you have one attack button. If you hold it, you'll charge up for like a different type of attack. And that's kind of like you can't jump and attack. You can't attack in the air, or you can't attack after a jump. It has a glider, so you can jump off things and hit jump again and glide. And out of a glide, you can actually do kind of a ground pound style attack. But that doesn't come into play. You can't just pop your glider out after a regular jump. And so I just wish that the core basic combat just had a snappier and slightly more engaging feel. Just to give you something to do when you're fighting some of these more basic enemies, because the elemental switching characters and that sort of stuff is neat, but I think they could have done more there. But beyond that, it's a great looking game. I think there's so much voice work in the game, and like there's so much there. It's weird. It's like it really feels like someone sat down and went like, all right, these gacha games, they're real big, but there's certain types of players that we're just not bringing in with just like anime phone nightmare, menu game. We need something more. We need something that's going to suck in all these other people that are out there playing other video games.
And out came Paimon.
Exactly. And yes. And
Paimon, welcome up.
Thoughts on
Paimon? All into this hell.
Paimon's
great.
I like Paimon. Okay. I have no issues with Paimon.
All right.
No problems.
At least right now.
Yeah.
Shooter.
Paimon might betray me.
They kind of made a Breath of the Wild style game. I mean, people say that a lot. Like I think that there's stuff about it. it's not just a straight up Breath of the Wild clone. There are elements of it where you look at the enemies and go like, okay, yeah, there's an art style, there's a shared art style here. You can put custom icons on the map.
Yeah.
You can fucking glide off stuff, and they build puzzles around like, oh, I need to get up high so I can glide down to this platform where this chest is.
I mean, the first time I saw screenshots of this game, it really just kind of smacked me in the face. There's even something about sort of the far distance, the way the landscape looks, the color palette, and the way it desaturates, and just like
they're deliberately doing that. I don't mean to say like they're not making something that is designed to evoke that, but if people go into this and say it's anime Breath of the Wild, like it's not. You're not going to get that out of this per se, but you do climb on stuff, and there's a stamina meter, and when you climb and all that sort of stuff. So like there are definitely elements of it that you look at and go like, okay, you pulled this from this game. You pulled a lot of elements from this game. And yeah, I don't know. It's I also think the phone version is like pretty impressive in a way, like the
100%
phone.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what y'all are playing?
No, I'm playing on PC.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But also I am also playing on my phone. And like I think I'm like the menus I think are actually a lot easier to navigate on phone. So like if there's like a bunch of maintenance I need to do, like I need to feed these weapons to other weapons to level them up. That is something I can do in bed.
Yeah.
Before bed is just like do all that shit because it's all cross save there. The PS4 version is like the odd man out there, and so by default is like the worst version of the game on all fronts. Like it's a little chunky and it does not cross save with the other versions, so it's like it's fucked. It's pointless. It might as well not exist. And yeah, so but I think the touchscreen controls are not bad, and that's where you play it and go like, oh, maybe I see why you don't have a jump attack and why you only have one attack button and all this other stuff. Because if you're thinking about it from the perspective of touchscreen controls, that might be a little too much for some people. I
wish they supported like a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah, they should
on mobile. But like on mobile, like I have it. I guess now it's an old iPhone, like an 8, and it runs perfectly fine. I'll run my daily. Yes,
an iPhone 8 is considered old now.
Well, we're on 12 now, Brad.
I also am on a. Do I have to get rid of this thing now? What's going on?
Yeah,
here?
throw it away.
Old man phone out there.
Explode.
Yeah.
But like I'll run my daily chest routes like either in the morning or like before I go to bed, and it works perfectly fine. Like the combat, like now that you mentioned that, it might have been designed with mobile in mind.
Yeah.
It still leaves a little bit more to be desired, just because my thumbs are so fucking big. That
what if you
feels
had
awkward?
A bigger screen on your phone?
I thought about like putting it on an iPad, but then I thought at that point, what am I doing?
But what if like the screen was bigger, but there's like a chunk taken out of one end of it, and it looked really ugly and
Love it.
and not symmetrical, and I just hated it, and I didn't get one because of that.
You just
I don't know, man.
You missed the button, don't you?
I like a button, you know.
I like a button too.
What if instead of a button there was just more screen? More room
Perhaps.
for Paimon.
More room for Paimon.
I guess.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what adventure rank are you right now?
13.
13.
So I'm basically rushing to get to 15 so that I can start to ascend to characters and start to play for real, basically.
Is there like I'm trying to think how to ask this. Like, is there like a finite amount of content? I mean, like there's a map. Like at some point, are you just going to have explored and done everything, and then that's it?
There are dailies,
okay,
but a lot of that, at least the dailies I've done so far, have been go to this area and kill 6 guys. You know, it's not the most engaging content, but and a lot of the chests out in the world will respawn and regenerate, so you can open them again, which is why Jan's talking about like a chest route and stuff, which is truly dark.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I ask because like Zelda or Breath of the Wild is just a single player game that ends, you know, like eventually you do
This is a game with a quest log. This is a game with chapters and story and all this other stuff. And I think that's the thing that keeps me going through it, is actually as the political intrigue of this world ramps up, as people try to figure out what this dragon destroying the city is doing.
The story actually good?
I like it.
I
Okay.
The part where I'm at, it's talking about like political turmoil between 2 different nations that are tied to like worshiping gods, and like the gods are like physically taking form and intervening in it and stuff. It's weird that it's so much in what is kind of like a free to play game or free to start game.
And that's why I'd say it's like so. Like this feels like the maybe not the ultimate realization, but this is definitely like the next step in like, hey, can we get these games to a wider audience of people and get them in this system of paying over and over again to roll for characters that they're never going to get.
Yeah, that's
ha 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 ha.
That's why I ask about the content. Is obviously the business model of a game like this is to keep you playing forever.
Yeah.
So I was
they have if you go to their website, they show like here are the areas in the game. They've got the first area, they've got the second area, then below that it just says coming soon. Okay. So I think that they've got they do have a
roadmap.
A roadmap, if you will,
also,
of things that they're going to update.
Probably not hard to keep adding content to the game, considering apparently they've made like $100 million on it already. Is the
they've recouped their developmental costs, right?
Like that's the number I saw going around.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems like with the way the story is structured and the way the number of gods out there, they could do a number of different regions, one for each god, all that sort of stuff. Like they've got room to grow, I think, before they have to. I bet they have a solid. I bet they have a plan in mind for how they intend to grow it and when. So it's impressive. Like it's scary in a sense, because I think like as much as I think this is a cool game and people should play it. I think if you are the sort of person that is like that, if you have poor impulse control, like it's one of those games, you know, you could just keep feeding money into that slot machine and not get the characters you want. Like it's just funny to think like, because of all the turmoil this industry went through around random loot boxes and all this other stuff, they do publish drop rates. So, like the insanely low percentage for a 5-star character and all this other stuff.
Wasn't that regulated in China at some point where this was developed?
Yes,
that was mandated at some point, right?
I think the percentages that was the mandate, right? Was to publish that stuff. But the rates are low. It sucks. It's and the way for you to get all of the characters or whatever you want, like it's one of those games. And I know plenty of people who have liked previous gacha games and all that other stuff. I think the question of like, should gacha games exist? Yes or no? Like all that stuff. I think we're kind of past that. And I think it needs to be like, you need to look yourself in the mirror and figure out if you're going to be okay with this, or like, if you're like, so when I go into games, when I go into free to play games, especially ones that I think, have a potential for, like a gambling or abuse, whatever you want to call it. Like I always look at it as like, if I really like a free to play game, I will try to put money into it and stop at about the level of what a full price game would be. Like if I start getting to a point where I'm putting more than $60 into a free to play game, which happens almost never, then it's like, you have to really think like, am I really enjoying this? Am I really like PSO2, for example, is free to play. And I have not put, I ended up buying the stuff when it came out when the North American stuff came out, and I paid for like a month of premium when it was out in Japan and stuff like that. And I think if you total that up, it's maybe $65, maybe $70, something like that. And that's likely to be all the money I'll spend on that. And we'll see when they do their big update and all that other stuff. Like maybe I'll come back to it and all that. But I try to at least keep that in mind of just like, hey, I'm okay with the idea of paying a game's worth of money for a game that I'm actually genuinely enjoying. Yeah. And I haven't put any money into Genshin Impact, and I don't currently see any reason to.
What? You didn't pay for that? No. Amazing pull?
Really? There's a bundle early on that instead of costing 10 wishes, which is the rolls, you can do 8 instead, and it kind of gives you better chances. It's a limited amount of 8 rolls you can do. And then Jeff fucking pulled off a miracle with that one.
Yeah, I pulled out 4 characters in one roll, which is like, I was looking at it and going, I was laying in bed, like doing this roll on my phone and staring at it going like, that doesn't seem like it's supposed to happen. Holy shit.
Was that the big deal?
I got a 5-star and 3 4-stars.
Was the big deal how many characters you got or what quality they were?
Yes.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. The part where it's starting to get a little tedious for me, I'm at adventure rank 21. And I'm starting to do like routines of defeating like outer world bosses and doing like some dungeons, and it costs the energy system in the game to claim the rewards. And I think that's been like people's main complaint as they reach the max AR level or adventure rank level, is that you'll passively be building up more energy, but then you can use money to refresh your energy so you can keep going. So you could either wait a day to grind out for some weapon materials, character ascension materials, or you could pay a couple bucks to refresh all of that from the get-go and keep grinding out. And I've seen people on a vicious loop of that so far, of dropping like, all right, well, I'll just spend $5 today and then refresh my resin or my energy. And then I've seen friends say that, spend $5, and then they'll like a couple days later, it's like, yeah, but then I dropped another 50.
Yeah, that's dark, man. That's it's a slippery slope. And again, I think that's why I think if you're the sort of person that loves to gamble and maybe doesn't know when to stop, like these types of games are that. They always have been, and I think that's the catch, right? But hey, I can go up the freeway a few exits and go play a slot machine too if I wanted to.
You're talking.
I just don't.
You why don't you just jump on Predict It while you're at it and start putting money on the election.
There you go.
Yeah.
If
you want to live dangerously.
Can we bet against my own interests and then see if I can
Chat raised a slightly conspiratorial sounding possibility just now, which granted, I guess there's no way for us to know, but they asked if like it's possible that the developers could adjust drop rates based on the player if they flag like there's known influencers.
There's no way that they would know my email address and account information and all this other stuff to know that's me.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
Okay.
The account I created, all that other stuff. I'm not out there posting. Like now, I have posted.
Well, that's what I mean.
In that
like
screenshot, I posted my user ID, but
that's what I mean. Like if you posted screenshots and they were able to pull your username or something like that.
That's scary.
So sure, that I could see a company doing that. Absolutely. I mean, you could also start a company and sell your own, and try to sell your own Counter-Strike skin gambling site while you're at it. I mean, there's a number of bad ways for that to go, but like this isn't me using my work email address. I have never had any contact with the company that made this game up until yesterday. I thought it was actually part of the China Hero project, that Sony stuff, and apparently it is not. So I don't know none of that, but that's yes, the email address that I use for that account is not something that would be tied back to any kind of anything. So yeah,
they do have a pity system though, that if you roll 89 wishes and you don't get a 5-star character, your 90th wish, which is Jesus Christ, you'd have to spend money by that point, you'll get a guaranteed 5-star. So I guess there's that. But that's not tied into like anyone's account. That's everyone going, oh boy.
Yeah, that's a lot of you'd have to spend a lot of money.
Everybody would.
But I think I've rolled 40-ish times, I think, and paid $0, like 40, maybe 50, I forget. But
if it's like 1,600 primo gems to get the currency to roll, I can't do math well. So either you're grinding from like the very get-go for those primo gems, or you'd have to spend money at that point.
Grinding for these primos
daily.
Yes. No, I think it is a very well-made game, and I think that is insidious, and also it's a very good game. So, it is what it is. There's a darkness that comes with this, and that's free to play. And honestly, if you're sitting there going like, this is outrageous, that's always been free to play.
Right.
Like, this is what this is. This is what phone games have been in a lot of cases for a while now.
If anything, there's way more game here than in
honestly,
of these games.
The innovation here is that they've gone and made a very good ass video game. Not perfect, but like they've decided, okay, what if we invest in this aspect of the game to build it out? But like, I know a lot of people that play at least one gacha game, and it ain't new.
Mm-mm.
So I think like the kind of pearl clutching stuff around some of this it's a little late for that, but know what you're getting into always, of course.
Yeah.
I fear for the future we'll live in where other AAA companies will see the success of something like Genshin Impact and how they'll monetize that. I mean, FIFA is supposed to be very scummy in its like monetization model, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if they just say, "Hey, FIFA this year free to play, but you gotta, you can roll for." I don't know what you'd roll for in FIFA, but like,
well, you
get
open
these
card
characters.
packs. I mean, that's the thing is like FIFA is all about, like, Ultimate Team is all about you opening packs of virtual cards, like same type deal. So like that's, they're already there with a lot of that stuff. Boy. So that's like, I really do feel like the eventual path that stuff like that is on is like, yes, of course you would do a free to play FIFA at some point, but while they're still able to sell X number of millions of copies of FIFA for $60 or now even maybe $70 a pop, there's still too much money there for them to make that cut. But you do see them discount FIFA and get it to a point where it's like, and they move it into the EA Play Vault and all this other stuff. And like at some point, the economics of that shift in such a way where they go, actually, the real value here is to just make this thing free and just get people buying packs of cards and just that's where we're going to make our money. And maybe they do that on phones. I don't actually know. I know that EA has definitely put some of its stuff onto phones in various ways, but I don't know how close that is to the Ultimate Team stuff or not. I just haven't looked into it. But yeah, man, like, yes, that is that feels like the eventual goal for all of these. Any game that's going to monetize well with microtransactions of any kind after the fact, you look at and go like, oh, well, why don't we do this? I mean, Rocket League just went free to play and they're going to that kind of battle passy kind of model and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
they've been there for a while, actually.
Apex started that way. There's a lot of different ways to kind of skin that cat, but I
think for like Genshin Impact to do it and have like a a pretty compelling story, a fun story, it's wild. It is so wild.
Yeah, that's the one that because that's the one that I think that feels most like a lot of the other mobile gacha games. I mean, but the gameplay obviously is like a relatively different thing.
Like I start to think of like, what if a developer or a publisher, I guess, like Atlas did this with the next Persona game, right? Like you had to roll for your party members, and then like think about like all the different systems in Persona that they could monetize from there. It sounds like an absolute nightmare that I would dive into. Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it. Like I don't think they'll necessarily. I don't think it makes sense to go there with that many different games and genres and stuff like that. But yeah, you could see a lot of those types of games
translate over to that.
Yeah. Or even if it's not like, hey, here's the next numbered Persona sequel, but could you see like, hey, we made a Shin Megami Tensei game that is a gacha game, and now congratulations, you opened this pack of cards and you got the dick, you got the big bulging cock Persona thing that I forget the name of, and it's 5 fucking stars, baby.
It's got a 5-star bulge.
That's right. Yeah,
you don't have to roll for that here.
Yeah, you got a 6-star Jack Frost. You could go a lot of bad ways with that sort of stuff, especially any game with a big roster, right? A big roster where there's playable characters, like they could have done that with Call of Duty. They might do that with Call of Duty Mobile. I don't actually know how they monetize Call of Duty Mobile, because every time I open it, it's the 9 different currencies and 8 different menus that say do this, do this, do this, and like none of it makes any sense. And I just go like, I just wanted to shoot people, but I'm to close this app because none of it makes any sense to me. And you're downloading several gigs of maps every time I open it. Apparently there's already a Shin Megami Tensei gotcha game on phones.
Oh,
so congratulations, we are all millionaires.
If only.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail?
No.
Let's hope so.
Never is. It never is.
Man, what if that's what Captain Tsubasa had been? Just FIFA, like the FIFA
no! Anime gotcha FIFA.
Except you could turn the soccer ball into the Spirit Tiger.
I have no idea what that story is because I keep skipping over everything. I just keep playing anime soccer like every other night, I could not handle that because I'd probably drop all the money to now get like a spirit ostrich running me down the field or the pitch
Chat
to
says
play soccer.
Chat says there is in fact a Captain Tsubasa gacha.
Son of a
Great.
Oh,
Yeah, I
of
mean, you
course there
know,
is.
obviously, you know, right? Like that's, you know, there's
Can
there's a
we make a
market for that.
gotcha? Can we make a gotcha somehow?
Probably. I don't know. Is there like a gotcha construction kit out there? Is that like a Unity plugin that we can just add on and
What do we
Build your podcast.
Gotcha bomb, giant bombcha. What are we doing here?
Oh God.
Gross.
I don't know. It's a good game. It's really well made. I think that people should check it out, but at the same time,
Be very wary.
totally. No, but you're getting into, you know,
Yeah.
you're also getting into a game where they, you know, the developers are based in like Shanghai, so you can't type the word Taiwan into it. You know, there's that aspect of it as well, which some people have been pointing out. But like, yeah, I mean, the developers are based in Shanghai. Well,
They're subject.
that's
to
the law
so-
where they are.
yeah.
This is kind of out of their hands at that
Yes,
point.
not-
It is what it is.
not-
If
not-
that's
Yes. I mean, it sounds like there's plenty of buffer there, right? Before you're gonna run into any potential to spend
Totally.
money.
Absolutely.
You have plenty of time to figure out if you're actually into it or not. Before.
I have put 10-ish hours into it, I would say, and not spent any money at all. And I would say I'm not opposed to spending money. But now that I just got that lucky ass pull with 4 characters in it, like I'm going to check that out. And, you know, like the reaction to that on Twitter was people saying like, oh, you never have to roll ever again. You just got the characters that you just got your whole team for the rest of the game.
Mhm.
Congratulations. Like, oh, all right. I mean, not everyone's going to have that luck. And some people are going to fucking go down a rabbit hole rolling over and over again to try to get to Luke. But like, you know, I think even with the base characters, the game didn't seem like too out of control or hard. But again, I haven't, you know, I'm only adventure rank 13. So maybe that becomes a problem.
All right. This concludes our gotcha hour.
Yeah.
They gotcha.
boy.
I used that one last week. That's it's old material.
Still works.
That's right. Just
Sure.
going back to the hits around here.